Today, we're at our neighbor's house, our neighboring country, Canada. We're in Ontario, Canada, for the Corduroy Enduro. Now, the Corduroy Enduro is known as one of Canada's toughest races. And what makes it tough is that it's 3 days long. It's Friday morning, 10 a.m., 10:08 actually, because we're on minute 8 and we just took off. So, we're out there. We're on the track. Now, one would think, like, Zach, man, you're going awful slow here. Like, shouldn't you be going faster? And that's what I thought for a split second as I start racing. And then I realized, whoa.
Is this a transfer?
This is a transit section. You idiot, Zach. What are you thinking? You can't be racing here. This is just a transit section. But if you're like me, and this is your first Enduro, you might be a little confused as to what's going on. All you really got to know is that there's these transfer sections that take you from point A to point B, and it doesn't affect your scoring or anything. You just got to ride them. So what they do is they set a time that it should take you to do the transit section, and it's reasonable. They don't want you speeding or ripping down the main roads. They actually had people out there with radar guns, and you could be penalized for that. So it's going to take us 30 minutes to go 20 kilometers to arrive at our test. So when we get to our test at 10:38, since we're on minute 8, is when our road's going to go off. You actually want to get there a few minutes early so you could rest.
Awesome trail.
When you get to the test and your minute goes off, you got to be ripping. It's a sprint. Boom, minute 8 is off, timer starts, you're going. This is your test. Go as fast as possible. This test is called Larry's. It's 2.6 kilometers in length, and I'm just feeling it out, man. This is the Canadian dirt. I'm feeling it. It's real nice, but technical. It's rough and bumpy. Each minute had 5 riders, and 2 of the riders in minute 8 here I got to know quite well. Their names are Cam and Reese, and they're real good buddies with Tom, who is here as well. He's on minute 9, just a minute behind us. I'd have some GoPro footage of Tom from this test, but he had an accident in the transfer section. Whoa, we just went to a place we don't want to know about. Oh, I touched that camera after. Anyway, what I was getting to was Cam, who's on my minute. We just go back and forth all weekend. There is going to be some intense battling between Cam and I going all weekend. You hear that Husqvarna 450 behind me? That's Cam. So 2.6 kilometers is not very far. It's 1.6 miles. But when you're doing an all-out sprint, I mean, you're like, oh my God, arm pump, and you're out of breath. So what you can't see is how rough and bumpy the ground is. It's really rumbly and just, there's not a spot of smooth ground. It's just so chopped. Not rough like from riding, but just naturally bumpy. Kickers, just kickers everywhere. Of course, this is a smoother part of the track, but it's hard to tell from the camera. trail was kind of crazy because you'd be going, then all of a sudden, corner, surprise, whoa, boom, and then you just had to be really prepared to use the brakes hard. Hey, there's another rider from our group, Jamie. He was on row 7. And then we also had Dylan McRitchie up on row number 6. So there it is, the finish. Boom. 5 minutes, 3 seconds. So we'd finish the test and it'd be like, all right, I don't know how that was. Am I doing well or not? And you wouldn't really know. I just know that Cam finished 2 seconds behind me. I mean, we're close. So we ride the next transit section a few more kilometers to the dump, our next test. Cam gets the jump. He's got the 450 screaming. This is even shorter than the first test there. This is 2 kilometers in length. It's sandy, man. Look at this. I got the 300 singing here, but I've got a soft compound tire on. It's not like in the sand. However, it does pay off in the other sections that are going to be coming up, so it's a trade-off. Whoa, woo! Yes, that's my front flip attempt right there. Almost had her. I messed up that corner there. Little mistakes like that will cost you big in these sprints, where any little mistake is just going to set you back. Cam got me by 4 seconds, and so, I mean, you add up all the times, Cam has got me beat now for the day. Now we got a lot more tests to go, and we're transiting over to Graham's, the next test.
Yeah.
Dude, I watch your videos.
Awesome. Thanks.
35 seconds!
This is 3.2 kilometers long. Here we go. Cam grabs it. Oh, boy. Watch Cam's wheel. It's a good example of how choppy and rough the ground is. It's not very smooth. Oh, he's pulling from me. Cam's getting away. Oh, he's down! Oh, man, so I'm able to get around him there. Oh, man, that was sketch. In a sprint type event like this, where you gotta just go as fast as possible, I mean, you have to push yourself. You gotta be outside your comfort zone, right to that point where it's like, oh man, I'm gonna die. But back it off just a little notch, where you're still in control of the bike and not making mistakes. It's a very fine line, but you're right on the threshold. And then there's those moments where you gotta push and take that gamble and ride outside your comfort zone to grab a few extra milliseconds. But here's the thing, and I was wondering this the whole time. I'm like, man, you know, I'm doing well in these first few tests. Can I do this for 3 days? And that's where this gets tough. You gotta be really hanging it out there for a long time. 3 days worth of riding. Moments thinking here, man, if I was on a 4-stroke and I was riding smooth and kept the power going, I could probably do better. All these kind of surprise corners, surprise hills, where you really need that torque and power that a 4-stroke can just deliver immediately, would have helped. Like right here, this hill, I'm on that low range of the 2-stroke. I'm lugging it, but the 4-stroke would have been right up it, you know, and that's where I was wondering. I could probably benefit riding a 4-stroke in this type of terrain.
Thank you.
This is just some unbelievably beautiful trail. Epic up here. I mean, my kind of stuff, I eat this right up. I will say it was slightly dry, almost powdery out there in the woods, but I'd rather that than wet. And apparently this race is typically and notoriously super swampy. Whoa, that's not how you corner. I finish up Graham's, and it looks like, I'm looking at the scores here, I got 2nd place. Cam got 5th, and Graham won Graham's. That's funny. So there's a new contender getting into here in the expert class. It's Graham from Massachusetts. He's a Netra racer. So it's looking like Cam, Graham, and I are all right up there, fighting for the #1 position in the expert class. Graham is back on row 19, so it's interesting because it's all going to be based on time. We are beginning the MX test. This is a 1.2 kilometer test on like a motocross style track. Not motocross like with jumps or anything. This is really just grass track, I'd call it. But sandy. Just a piece of advice, a mistake I made, and I couldn't figure it out until towards the end of the weekend, but it just felt like I couldn't get on top of the bike. Like, I just felt like I kept falling back and couldn't wrangle the bike. And so what I did is I put a short seat on the bike, way back at the beginning of the year when I started doing all those hard enduros, so I could dab and put my feet down in the boulder sections. I mean, you need that in the hard enduros, for me, a short rider like me. However, it blows when you're trying to ride more aggressively and corner and get on the front of the bike. Instead, you just slide into the cup, like the seat is like a big cup when it's shaved down, the short seat is. But I managed, I worked with it, and adjusted. Oh, man, I'm blaming the seat on that, too. No, my ability to ride sand was lacking as well, don't get me wrong. But keep that in mind with the short seat. It's the one drawback that I find, and it's hugely annoying. The MX test ends right here, so Cam took the win in the expert class. Nice. And I was a few seconds behind right there in second. So we have about 50 kilometers of transit we ride, which is a lot. I mean, that's a lot of riding. A gas stop, and then we're at Greens, our next test. This is a 5-kilometer test. Cam gets to jump, but man, we got a long event here. This is a long test. I get into a straightaway here and I hammer down. Airborne bang, just landed straight into a face of a bump. Like, it's just naturally bumpy. And it just bounced me straight back. Like, I deflected. I just kind of bounced off of the track, which set me back a little bit. And now Cam is long gone. It's one of those moments now where you gotta take that gamble. Take a little more risk to catch up, make up some time here. I don't know if you can tell how rough the terrain is, but half the time I'm not even on the ground. I'm just flying in the air, bouncing off of things, just a grasshopper through the woods. Right-hander up a hill. I see Cam ahead, so I'm just powering, I'm pushing. Oh. onto what is like a main public trail up here in Canada. Real fast, wide open, rocky, just gotta be careful. Big slab rock. And it gets pretty bony right here. That's the 7A of Jamie right there. Cam gets around him, and then I'm coming through here. As he goes up, he gets a little squirreled, and I'm able to go to the right and get around him. But this stuff just clicked up a level here. This is gnarly. Next thing I know, I'm taking a right-hander up this hill, and there's a bunch of people. And I see big ledge. Trevor Wood, at XCRiderTrevor on Instagram, provided me with some amazing clips from the Cord. Here's one of them when I was going up that rock section. Look at the rider in front of me here. There goes Cam right there. Thanks, Trevor. Amazing work. And we'll be seeing some more clips from him. Yeehaw! So I just passed Cam doing that. As I come up here, I keep going up. I'm all fired up. I'm going right up this thing. I'm like, yeah, baby. I get up to the top of this, and I'm not seeing much track. I'm like, wow, this is not right.
Is this a trail?
Cam and I are like, what are we doing? So I'm like, all right, go back, go back, go back. Where do we go? This way. Okay, so we didn't need to go all the way up that. It just went this way, man. So I'm like, geez, we just lost time. We gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. So I'm just pushing down this hill fast. Out of gear there, and I just started getting a little sloppy at this point. Come down this, and I made another mistake where I popped out of gear. I just kind of got screwed up a little bit.
God!
It happened again! What the heck am I doing? Whoa, I'm all over. Ah! That's so frustrating. Slid right out. I don't know. I just slid out there, so now this really screwed me. Put me back. Cam got around me. There we go, but now it's like, man, I gotta really push again. Oh yeah, this is some good stuff. Real rocky in here. Nice.
Thank you!
Tightened up, got a lot more windier and technical, so it was hard. I mean, I couldn't push too much faster than what I was doing here. I mean, I probably could have, but we're pretty far into it. It's a longer test, so I was getting a little zapped at this point, you know? Your forearms are hurting, you're kind of out of breath, but you're pushing. Oh, baby, look at that. Technical roots and everything in this. Good stuff. It opens up. We're at a beaver pond. And I see Cam. He's on the dam. He's on the beaver dam. And I'm thinking, oh, God, how deep's the water? I don't do I go through it? They had warned me. Be careful of all water crossings at the cord. You never know how deep they are. So I try to go up on this, and then I see, it's not even deep. I could have made the pass if I wanted to risk it, but I figured it's not worth flooding out the bike on Friday, when we still have Saturday and Sunday to go. So Cam took the win in the expert class in this test. I was in second right behind, so it is tight as beans. There was supposed to be one more test. However, the scorekeepers got lost, and so they didn't end up counting the test, but we rode it anyway, and it was awesome, just a fun trail ride. I wasn't running the camera, and that's when Reese had this wipeout on this rock face here.
You alright?
Man, I wish I had the camera on. It was pretty gnarly. This is part of Big Baldy right here, and man, it is killer. It would have been awesome. It's too bad it wasn't part of the test, but it was a good trail ride. So, anyway, I'm looking at the results here. I took the win on Friday, and a 16th overall. Cam, just 19 seconds behind me, is in second, and Graham is 1 minute and 6 seconds behind me in third. So that is the results in the expert class from Friday only. We got a lot of racing to do. We did 73 kilometers today on Friday. Tomorrow, we got to do 175 kilometers. More than double what we rode here on Friday. And then there's still Sunday. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We got some tight racing coming from Saturday at the Corduroy. That'll be the next video. So stay tuned. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you.